What's going on, boys? Hello. Lots of people in here today. Yash, Gurinder, Nils, Tanuj, Ginger, BV7's here. Saab's here. Vladdy, what's good? I'm trying to get my curls in. I gotta go on YouTube first, though. So let's just get right into it real quick. SPY, obviously, what a weird day. You guys all survived the great bear market of July 27th. Lasted approximately around 3 hours. Look at this candle. Complete V shape again. It's just getting ridiculous at this point. Even right here, it looks like the same kind of action as July 2nd here, where we had a huge gap down. Everyone bought the dip, and we ended up with a hammer candle and a higher open the next day. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Obviously, we got the Fed. We got a lot of external sources that could send us into some volatility. If Jay Powell, based on today's market, if Jay Powell says anything wrong tomorrow, or if any of big tech screws up their earnings, we have a lot of downside opportunity here. Obviously, we're still right in the middle of the channel. We're not at the top, we're not at the bottom, so it's still any can go either way. You can't really make a long-term bet on this market right now. The time to make a long-term bet was back here at this channel, back here when it touched this trend line, back here when it touched this trend line, and back here when it touched this trend line. The reason you can't take shorts that seriously is because they just keep buying stuff. The Fed just has unlimited liquidity that they can just keep buying stocks. So, yeah. Okay, what else we got? We got QQQ, huge dump today. Tech was most obvious loser today, very weak compared to the other sectors. Other sectors, I meant XLF. XLF was ripping this morning while QQQ is dumping, which I've told you 100 times. In the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's always been inverse. Whenever XLF rips, QQQ goes down. Whenever QQQ rips, XLF goes down. So right here, we had that huge rip in the morning XLF. None of this even matters because on the daily range on XLF, we're still within that 35 to 37 range, which I told you is just a range. Until we break 37 to the upside or 35 to the downside, this is just range bound. There's no trade on XLF here. QQQ, same thing, huge dump, and then recovered almost 50% of the dump by the end of the day. Big volume at the end of the day. Everything looks good. On the daily, everything looks fine. Look at this big hammer candle forming here, trying to get back to all-time highs. Like, this market does not want to quit. Maybe Jay Powell started buying at lunchtime, who knows. Let's see what he says tomorrow. He's the most bullish guy I know, so let's see. IWM, huge dump this morning, even though XLF was ripping, so that was noticeable. XLF is a huge part of IWM, which is small caps, like I told you. So XLF ripped this morning and IWM dumped this morning. So that tells me that small caps under the hood are a lot weaker than they're showing on the IWM chart. Just because when XLF is pumping, IWM should hold up a little bit better than this. So IWM was weak today. We had another like 50% drawback. So what you need to look at when stocks are consolidating or going up, how far do they pull back? So let's say IWM started, let's just give random examples here. IWM started at $100. It rips straight up in a line to 150. When it consolidates, you do not want to see it give back more than 50% of that move. At the max is 50%, just to be ideal. So if it pulls back all the way to 125, slowly on low volume, that's okay. It's still kind of concerning because it gave back 50% of the move. But if it pulls back to like 120 or 115, then it gives back all the move. That's like, it completely erases the bullish thesis in that stock. So keep an eye, it's both ways too. So if IWM dumps all the way from 219 all the way down to, what was the low of the day today? 219 all the way to 215, so it dumped $4. And at the end of the day, it closed at 217. So exactly. So it dumped $4 and recovered $2, which is 50% with nice volume. So that's a good recovery. That's just based on how you should look at charts, how you should look at consolidation, bullish, short, whatever you are. Just watch the consolidation. It's very important. Now, look, I just showed you IWM dropped $4, recovered $2. Now look at Amazon. It's much more bearish than that. Amazon opened at 3,700 just about. Low of the day was 35.88. So 110 points on Amazon. We dumped 110 points today. At the end of the day, we closed at 36.28. So it only recovered about 38 points of the 110 point drop. So that's how you should be looking at consolidation. So Amazon is much weaker than IWM was, much weaker than QQQ as a whole was. And that's just how I see weakness and how much weakness there is. Zoom, I should have sold all of it in the morning. Gap up, I got like 660 fills or 650 fills on my my calls that cost $4.70. But looking back, it's not too bad. Huge dip buy here. Again, you go intraday to see the damage. We got this humongous dump right off the open. I sold mine for 660 here. I sold half. I should have sold all of them, but whatever. Held on to them, still got them. So we had this huge dump. Again, you guys can do the numbers on your own. Just look at the high of the day, look at the low of the day, and look where we closed. And that tells you more intraday action than a daily chart will tell you. But then you zoom out, you look at the daily, you got this huge hammer candle here, right? So we're still all bullish here. Nothing's wrong. Never closed below the 50-day. Never closed below that long-term resistance line. Not too much volume in today. So nothing, no real red flags here. Obviously the Fed tomorrow could change all that, but let's see. NEO dumping because of China. Am I worried? Not really. We have 3 more weeks on our calls. NEO has completely different catalyst than what China is trying to crucify Chinese stocks for. There's no ed tech here. It's all electric vehicles. Norway took their shipment for NEO cars. NEO delivery numbers later this week. Tesla crushed earnings, even though they didn't get a good response. They still crushed earnings. So keep an eye on NEO. There's still a chance for this one to go. Today I didn't like the bear volume. Obviously there's a lot of it. And obviously I wanted to close above the moving averages. But again, we have 3 catalysts. We have 3 weeks. Let's see what happens. We aren't that far out of the money. We closed at 41. What did we close at today? 39.36. We're still $5 out of the money, but you guys all know how NEO moves. Once it gets going, it really gets going. $5 shouldn't be a big deal in 3 weeks. T-Doc. Oh no, that cannot be right. Don't tell me that's right. T-Doc at 140. Ay ay ay. Kathy Woods.
Well, things can change after the thing.
Yeah, T-Doc is down to $138. So I'm glad I reduced risk on that one. You guys see how I sold half at a loss just to reduce my risk. This is why I hate earnings plays. But let's see what it opens tomorrow. I haven't looked at the numbers yet. I haven't looked at the EPS growth, anything like that, guidance. If they announce great guidance, this thing could be up 20 points tomorrow morning. So let's see where it opens tomorrow. I'm not too worried about it. Sold half on purpose. That's why I do into earnings. I barely ever hold into earnings unless I have profit. But today I decided to hold because of fucking Kathy Wood. So let's see where we open up tomorrow. UPST, yesterday, very nice day. Today not so nice. Pretty much a double top here, 123.50 and 123.69. Okay, so we took out yesterday's high and we took out yesterday's low, which means it's a bearish engulfing. There's a huge volume shelf above at 124.80-ish, 125-ish. So if we get through that, we can explode. I'm still waiting for this weekly move that I keep telling you guys about on every single aftermarket call. So I'm not going to go over it again because I sound like a broken record. But yeah, UPST has a weekly move coming, a big one, soon, in my opinion. Let's see. SE, huge dump this morning. It actually dumped like the Chinese stocks, which is why I got interested in this one. It dumped as much as like Baba and like Baidu and PDD. But the thing is, SE is from Singapore, not from China. So that's why I decided to jump in the SE calls at the lows today. I jumped in 2 layers of lottos, which I very rarely do. Got paid on both sets. Well, one set is still up. One set is, I sold a lot of it for profits. And we picked up around here somewhere. I don't remember. Bookie got a great fill. He got more than 100%. So congrats to you, Bookie. SE is one stock. If you learn how it moves, it's very easy to trade. You can, because you have a lot of indicators for it, you can use the DXY, the dollar, as a proxy to see the opposite reaction. Whatever SE is doing, dollar is probably doing opposite. And again, it was just down because of China. You see the 50-day moving average. Look how many dip buyers there were to get that stock to close above the 50-day today. Even with big volume, that red candle right here does not describe all sell volume. Look how many people bought the dip. That's why we closed above the 50-day. That's why there's so much volume. So as long as SC stays above the 50-day, which it has been the last 3 tests, it looks like we're going to rip back up. So let's see if we get follow through on SC tomorrow. I still have some options for Friday. SMFR, this is the new symbol for CMLF if anyone's interested. I did take equity right before they merged, which obviously wasn't very smart. It's back down to $10 now. It's a brand new IPO, so you can't really say anything about it yet. You need some more price action before you decide how much this one is worth. But it's a great company. Tanuj did the research. He knows. I'm not afraid. I'll add more equity down lower. So let's see what happens there. Tesla murdered earnings yesterday. Complete dump. I told you that this morning. That was a market giving you a clue. The market was basically giving you a gift saying good earnings do not matter this time round. So
Google ripped 100 points.
So Tesla destroyed and then bounced back a little bit, but not too significant. Big volume shelf here at 644.80, 665 area. So I mean 644.80, 645 area. So keep an eye on Tesla. Google apparently they dominated ad rates. So what did they do? All-time highs on Google, Ricky's saying behind me. Okay, I don't have extended hours on TradingView, but you're going to have to take Ricky's word for it. He says Google's at all-time highs. They beat big, so that's good for the market. Microsoft should be out soon. Apple, I don't know what time it is. ES, this is the channels I had drawn today just for a basic example. Just some levels I thought of. 44.20 should be the top for ES. Tomorrow, 44.25. I have a couple big short plays to play tomorrow. If everything sets up the way I think it's going to set up, I have some puts for tomorrow into the rest of the week. So keep an eye for those. Baba, a little bit of recovery, closed right where we opened, so not really any action here. I don't really like this action on Baba. I'd much rather it just dumped even more. Why do I think it should have just dumped even more? I want this RSI to stay oversold until we get a fat bounce. Right, as long as it goes sideways, it's not going to get that bounce that we want. So let's see if we get another gap down on Baba tomorrow, then we might really get going. Google what? What'd you say?
27 plus.
Google is at
27.
Jesus. You talking about the one with the L or the G?
Yeah, L. It's at 27.10. 27.15. This is flying.
Okay, so Google might have saved the market. I got Google up 80 points, the one with the L, over 27.18, which is all-time highs by like $40. Yikes. Okay. Hope you guys have a good night. Market's not done. Market's not gone. Not khatam. It's a 4-hour pullback. Relax. Let's see what Powell has to say tomorrow. If he's still dovish, I doubt anything changes. If he gets hawkish, it's going to get early. Ricky swearing behind me. I'm sorry, guys. Have a good night. I will see you.